Actually, I need to, just give me 1 second. I need to delete data. Okay, so what I was saying is we went from, two great conversations to where she was ghosting me, and I'm wondering, what the hell happened, right? And after I said, now that we have our first date planned, what is your rule? Do we stop communicating until we meet for the first time, or do we continue the conversation? Actually, now that I said that, I just realized the mistake that I made, because she says I forget her exact words, but I'm a face-to-face type of communicator or something. I'm paraphrasing.
Mhm.
Okay. See, that's where I screwed up, because I didn't fully understand that, because she said she doesn't use social media, right?
Mhm.
Then a few hours later, I guess I want to continue the conversation, and I sent her a note saying I couldn't find you on WhatsApp. And then that's where she ghosted me. But that
Okay.
sounds like such a trivial mistake, doesn't it?
To one as trivial, to another it's a landslide. What's the reasons behind it? How long have you been speaking with her?
Uh, I would say all this, well, texting, um, over a 2-week period, I would say, like superficial texting. Then we finally got on the phone twice. Then we decided on the second phone call that we were going to meet face to face.
Right. And you think she's the one?
Well, I mean, it was a wonderful conversation. And we spent a good hour or hour and a half on the phone the second time.
Yeah.
Uh, and I thought she could potentially be the one.
Right. And this is after 2 weeks. Have you spoke to her about um Zarian?
About her, yes, I did.
Okay. And did you refer to her as the love of your life?
Who, Ariane?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I still refer to her in that way. Yes.
Okay. I'm just wondering from her point of view. Would you mind
Ariane's
sharing
point
her
of view?
name? No, no, no. The new lady that you've been speaking of for 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
Would you mind sharing her name, or should we just call her Lady
Leah.
Leah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, just from Leah's point of view, you've been speaking with each other for 2 weeks, and you two have got along really, really well. In fact, you've had two telephone conversations, both of which were fantastic, very, very meaningful. And after 2 weeks, you feel that she could very much be the one, although
She is
you have
showing the
meant,
signs of being the one. Yes.
yeah. And from her perspective, as you're speaking to her, you're referring to your ex, Zarian, as the love of your life.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that could scare her off at all, or
But
worry her
I
even?
never had that conversation with her. Um,
Mhm.
the only conversation about my ex we had is we dated for 7 years. I've, 2 divorces prior to that. That was the only conversation we've had. I
Okay.
didn't speak in depth about Ariane to Leah.
Yeah. Do you think it's the right time to find another relationship right now? If you are still referring to Ariane. as the love of your life, and then just looking for someone else and say potentially you're the perfect fit.
I see where you're going with this, and other people have mentioned that as well, that I'm still
Mhm.
hung up on another person. Um, when I left my second marriage, before I moved out of the house, when we said it's official, we are done, 30 minutes later, I was on the dating site because that, to me, that's how my brain functions. I have to be
Okay.
working on something else, right?
Mhm.
I don't I don't understand how women can, be grieving a relationship for 6, 7 years. To me, that's wasting 7 years of your life. The grieving process for me is designing the next one or building the next relationship.
Okay. Does it have to be a relationship?
Does it have to be a relationship? Well, I mean, it could be a loving relationship. It could be, a friends with benefit type relationship. It could be, it could be any type of relationship. But I believe we are happier as human beings by sharing our lives with someone special. I don't waste my time with average people. I want to invest my time with someone special.
Okay. No, I can
Whether it's
understand that.
biking or rollerblading or whatever that is,
Are
um,
you not special?
I think I am. Yes.
Yeah. My point is, can you not just spend some time with you and you? How much do you like or love yourself? Would it give you jitters down your spine if, or would it be fearful if you was to say out loud, do you know what, I love myself and really mean it?
Um, I don't think I hate myself.
Oh, no, no, no. I'm not saying hate. Hate's very different to
No,
love.
I understand. I, I it, to me, it's not about, here I am today. I'm doing business. I'm going to spend, 24 hours with myself today, but I'm busy,
Yeah, distracted.
distracted.
You're
Okay,
building an
so,
empire. It's brilliant. But what about you? What about your internal empire?
okay, I don't understand what you mean. Say more.
Okay, so at the moment, you've been from day dot, you've been doing what you're great at, building businesses, moving on to the next project, moving up and creating the empire that you've built, whatever that looks like. It's
Okay.
tangible, it's fantastic. You can stand next to it and say, I created that, I made that. But if we take a look inside what's going on internally, is it scared of being alone? And I know that you're saying, do you know what, life is all about having a partner. Yes, but it's about finding that's the journey is not the end product. The journey is about enjoying yourself, enjoy growing as you, finding the right person and growing together, not screw the middle bit. I just want the end product. Or is that scary?
No, I don't think it's scary at all.
Okay.
Um, I mean, Ariane and I have been apart. I mean, she came to visit for 2 months.
Yeah.
We've been apart for a year and a half now.
Uh-huh.
Um, I'm reasonably happy, but the question is, could I be happier? And
Yeah.
I'm always focusing on the happier part,
Yeah.
right? So I hope we're speaking the same language
I
because
think we are.
okay. Because to me, it's all about getting the best out of life, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we rewind back to the very start, before you figured out how awesome you were at building businesses, and if we focus on the things that was going on for you at that time before you realized, oh, I need a relationship. I mean, when you were 3 or 4, you don't need a relationship with anyone apart from your parents
Right.
to have that loving back and forth. And then once you grow away from your parents, say, okay, I can now move on. And you're still going to love your mum and dad, or many people will, many people do not. But would you say Now, excuse the derogatory term. It's not meant to be derogatory at all. Would you say you've gone through life like a monkey on the vines? You need one relationship, and if that one fails, you need another relationship to keep them moving forward. You just need that companionship.
Okay. When we look through my life, this is the longest I've been single ever. Okay.
Okay.
A year and a half to me is a lifetime. So
Yeah.
most of the time, I go from one relationship to another.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I decided to hire my assistant to take over my love life, because I was making a mess of it. So I went from one bad relationship to another bad relationship. I just settled. My first wife, I should never have married her. And I think I told you why I married her, because I saw 2% of my mortgages, actually 1.5 points of my mortgages evaporating. So I married her for business reasons, because I
Right.
could save a ton of money on mortgages because she worked for their old bank. So it was definitely the wrong thing to do. And that decision cost me $7 million.
Right.
So I keep looking at the relationships that I get involved in, and they were always the wrong people. Always the wrong people, aside from Ariane, right?
Okay.
Because I made a concentrated effort to find the right person. And like I
Yeah.
said, we talked to over 200,000 people to find her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's 2 years of daunting work. So the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I get depressed today is because in order to find another Ariane, I see 2 years of work in front of me to go through all these people that are not fun to have conversations with. So
Yeah.
when I finally have a conversation, an intellectual, in-depth conversation with Leah, I'm saying, holy crap, there is hope,
Yeah.
right? So I
Mm-hmm.
guess I was happy with the fact that, there is hope again, right? And
Yeah.
that's why I was so hyped up about meeting with her, because the potential.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It makes perfect sense. What
Okay.
I'm just looking at is I'm looking at the patterns before the intervention.
Yeah, they were
So
horrible.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't like spending time with myself. I didn't.
why?
Um, I was too immature. I was focused. I started my first construction business at 17 years old, so I was focusing always on business, never on brain development or human developing or building relationships or anything like that. It's only been recently that I've been reading a lot and studying 51 divorcing couples as to why the first straw that broke the camel's back and so on. So it's only been recently I've been reading Men Are from Mars, Women from Venus, and it's only been recently, since Ariane, or the past 7 or 8 years, that loving relationships and business relationships are almost identical,
Hmm.
because there's trust in both. The
Yeah.
foundation of both is trust, right? So
Yeah. Hmm.
it's just a minor tweak to go from a business relationship to a loving relationship. I know that's horrible to say, but
Why is it
from
horrible to say?
well, because any woman hearing me say that is going to say, "Well, I don't want to have a relationship with you because you are awful." Because even when I try to get people to do a Zoom call as opposed to investing 4 hours for a coffee or a drink, it's very time consuming, and they don't understand that
Okay.
I'm trying to go through 200,000 women, and I have 5 minutes. I'm using the 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 30 minutes to say yes, we're going forward, or no, we're not going forward. So it's a numbers game. But I
Hmm.
can't have that conversation with them, right? And women say, I will never settle. The first thing they do is settle, because they don't have a system to kiss 300,000 frogs. They kiss three. And this is one of the reasons why I'm upset with Ariane, is because I picked her from 200,000 women, literally. She picked her next boyfriend 1 from 1,
Mhm.
right?
Do you think the system's working?
Well, I worked for Ariane. If it worked once, I'm positive I could make it work again if I can just get motivated to do it again. Yes, I believe
But
the system works.
the ratio of 200,000 people to one, that's quite a big number. That's quite a weeding through the weeds to find the flower.
Or shafts to find the needle in the haystack. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But it's worth it. Because it's worth it. Because if I were to live 10,000 times, no, it wouldn't be worth it. But
Okay.
if you only live
Mhm.
once and happiness is important to you, you're going to invest that time and energy.
Okay. If you were to stand alone in the bathroom and just look at yourself in the mirror, how much do you truly love yourself?
How much
Scale
do
it from
I
10,
how much
10
do I love
being,
the wrinkles and the extra weight and
that's time. You got to love time. The extra
well,
weight, you know what?
what I don't like is the superficial level. The
Yeah.
gut, the extra 5 pounds, 10 pounds,
Uh-huh.
the bald head.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not talking superficial. I'm saying standing in the mirror and looking at you. Now, that's not what other people see. That's what you see. You. Do you
Yeah,
love yourself?
yeah, I think I do. I think I
Okay.
do. Okay. And the reason I insist on having at least 3 conversations with any potential mate is because it takes me that long to get me to be my true self. With
Hmm.
Ariane, the first 3 dates were horrible. Okay.
Hmm.
So it takes a while for the true Leo to come out. So yeah, when I look in the mirror and I look in the mirror every morning, yeah, I've known Leo for 64 years. Is he perfect? No, of course not. But
No.
if there was a clone of Leos and would I want to hang out with 20 Leos? Of course, they would be my choice people because everybody else would pale in comparison. Okay, if I
Okay.
can be that egotistical.
That's fine. That's good. That's good. But would you say that you are very task orientated, which is a good
Absolutely.
thing?
Absolutely.
Okay. How much room for error do you leave?
Oh, I don't make a lot of mistakes, but when I make them, they're huge ones on the
Okay.
personal side. I mean, $7 million in a divorce, I mean, that's a pretty huge mistake.
Okay.
So I
But how
make
much
some
room for error do you leave?
on the personal side, a lot,
Yeah.
a
Okay.
lot. Too much for comfort, actually.
Okay. And how much room for error do you allow other people to have?
That's what I meant for other people, because even though I have a huge list of what I'm looking for in a potential mate, they don't need to have 80% of everything. I just need a
Okay.
glimmer of, I just need a great positive attitude, from someone who can have an intellectual, stimulating conversation. That's not a lot to ask. It really isn't.
No.
It
No.
really isn't.
Where does the depression come from? Excluding the relationship with Ariane.
I didn't have depression before Ariane um, left the country.
What does
Of
it
course, I
feel like?
have ups and downs, right? But
Yeah.
I was just having a conversation on Facebook with another business owner, and he was I mean I share a lot on Facebook, and he was telling me he was going to start reading a book on anxiety, and I thought, okay, to me, anxiety and stress are twins or almost identical, and stress, you can either use stress to kill you or use it as an adrenaline rush and a challenge. Stress doesn't bother me. I love stress. Stress to me gets me working, motivated, right? stress or adrenaline rush is fuel to me. So I don't have an issue with anxiety. I have an issue with depression because my life is not where I want it to be. That's where I get depressed. Okay.
How can you get it to be better? Simply by a partner?
Yeah, I mean, I've had some wins, and I share this with Ariane. And my goal right now is to bring on 10 new clients at $100,000 a piece. Each time that I bring in a new client, I feel more and more depressed because I have no one to share that with. I have no one to
Right, I'm with
share
you.
the highs with. I have no one to share the lows with,
Yeah.
right? And that bothers me.
Okay. If you could have a conversation with your subconscious, what do you think your subconscious would be saying to you right now?
Take it easy on yourself. I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know.
If you look at emotions and feelings, at the moment, your conscious level, your brainwaves, your beta is your drives, your passions, your conscious decision to pick up this pen, a conscious decision to put your headphones on, a conscious decision to speak with me on this Zoom call. Now, in the background, there may be emotions and feelings and all the subconscious stuff that's going on, but your decisions are your decisions. You're influenced by your environment, your emotions, and your feelings. And if you're saying, all I want to do, I'm me as a conscious man, I'm very, very confident in my business making. I'm just missing the element of a partner, a life partner, someone that I love, trust, could go away with, enjoy life with, and that can reap the benefits as a collective from my earnings, my winnings, my life goals being achieved. What's going on below the surface level once you scratch away a little bit? When we're talking about before you answer, but you spoke about pressure and anxiety are pretty much twins. I would disagree with you there because pressure is almost like bending a stick. You're applying pressure on two ends, and the middle will end up snapping if you apply too much pressure. A little bit of pressure is good. Too much pressure, no so good. Anxiety is just pure fear. Anxiety is fear of getting up in the morning. That's no pressure. There's having a shower in the morning. It's putting your clothes on. It's sitting in. The anxiety is fear of the unknown, fear of whatever the future's got to bring. Different to pressure. It's an added pressure, but it holds its own intensity. So what is going on inside?
I don't know how to answer that because I have no fear for I love getting up in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm not saying you
Oftentimes,
have anxiety.
okay. Um, because I believe we are in control of our future. We design our future, either by action or inaction. We design our future. We are the sum of our decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no fear about my future. I have a fear of dying. I don't want to die. You know, I think about dying, and I'm getting closer and closer to that edge that, you know,
Yeah.
eventually we're going to fall in. But I honestly have no fear about my future because I'm designing and creating my future. So
Yeah.
you know,
If,
I
if you have
really,
nobody to share it with,
well, yeah, that's the sad part, right?
mhm.
That's the part where, you know, it drives me to hire more virtual assistants so they can help me with the finding part and kissing the more frogs. But each time I hire a VA, my clients need them and they're gone. So the shoemaker's kids go barefoot, and I'm the shoemaker and I go barefoot. But my life, I was really happy. I keep telling Ariane that I was deliriously happy spending time with her, even if it was just going for a walk or going for. She used to love going bike riding and hiking and stuff like that. She never played volleyball, which I was trying to teach her. And what kind of drives me mad is that she's playing pickleball. She's learning to play pickleball with, I was about to say his name, but she wouldn't with me. So that was kind of a source of frustration. But she kind of has some issues with her back and stuff like that. But I don't know what else to say.
And that's okay, because you are going to feel frustration. You're going to feel frustration from your ex-partner now sharing her partner, things that you tried to get her interested in, but she was not interested in, but now she is. And you're going to ask yourself many questions. Why him, not me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
And
presumed the
actually,
biggest.
speaking of frustration, I believe I made her better at relationships. Now she's going to take that knowledge and have a better relationship with him. That bothers me. As an example, I'm going to get a little personal right now because we don't know who she is and there's no way to connect her. She had two loves in her life. I don't know if she would call me one of those, but I do know that she was madly in love with someone and her dad broke them up because he went to Europe on holidays, and her dad didn't believe he went to Europe and didn't have an affair for as long as he was away, and that drove them apart. Dad actually insisted that they break up. So and that bothered me because she allowed an outside influence, and I don't care who dad is, separate her from the love of her life. And how she was able to do that, I don't know. But the second one was the fact he broke up with her because she couldn't orgasm. And he said, and broke her heart, I don't think I could be with someone forever who couldn't orgasm. And that broke her heart. So obviously we knew there was an issue there and we worked together to change that. And she was able to, on command, basically. Now she's using these skills with the new relationship, and that bothers me as well.
Okay.
I know it shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah. The last maybe 30 seconds you broke up the signal.
Yeah.
Could you say it again, please?
I saw you going red. I don't, okay, so she was in a relationship and he said, I don't think I could be with a woman that can't orgasm. And he broke up with her because of that. We worked together to find out why she couldn't. And, after a few months, she was able to orgasm almost on command. So all she needed was a patient person to figure out what the problems were and work through them. And she felt like a whole human being because she can now do what most women can't, or a lot of women can't. So and that bothers me because now I worked very hard to get her there. Now she's using those skills with her new boyfriend. That's what I said.
Okay. I see. Well, thank you very much for sharing that, Leo. The question is, the big question is, how can I help you?
I don't know. I don't know. You were talking about hypnosis before. And actually, Ariane, this week we're watching a series on childhood trauma. And she insisted that I watch it. And I forgot the fact that you're going to have a conversation with her as well. I just remembered that. So that will be interesting.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but
doesn't matter.
She is watching the childhood trauma, but I keep going back to my childhood. Was it a perfect childhood? No. But do I remember any trauma? And they keep talking about the subconscious trauma, but I was never raped. Yes, we were beaten because in Europe, you have bad grades, you get a slap in the head. And even the teachers used to take the ruler to the hand type thing. That's how we were brought up. So is that trauma? I told you the last time about I hated going to school, and every time I got to school, I wanted to go back home because I missed my family. But that was because I was lazy and I never did my homework. So whether there's more to unpack there or not, I don't know. But I don't know of any other trauma in childhood or adult life that's happened beyond that. I mean, divorces are traumatic. I mean, I didn't tell you that I lived in my car for almost a week because I refused to, because to me, checking into a hotel room or even going to a family was me accepting the fact that the divorce was over. And I believed, you get married for life. So is that traumatic? I don't know. And is it traumatic that both my exes are now living with my ex-best friends? Is that traumatic? I don't know, but both of them, that's got to say something, right? How is it possible that both marriages ended up with my ex-best friends living with my wives? How does that happen? And and who's at fault here? Because obviously I didn't pay enough attention somewhere. But is that traumatic? I don't know.
Okay. In order to dive into your childhood, there needs to be a reason to it. Let's just say we go into hypnotherapy. What is it to fix? What is it to sort out? I mean, for example, if you had PTSD and you're really struggling to live a normal life, we can easily jump back and say, okay, where did it all go wrong? But at the moment, all you're saying is the only thing that I'm missing in life is a partner. But I can't get a partner, but I need to go through my VA to find me one. What's going on, Leo? What's really nipping at your ankles?
I don't know how to answer that because I don't know. Aside from wanting to live my life at the highest level possible, I don't know how to answer that.
Okay. Is there anything wrong in your life right now, apart from you just want to go to the next level?
I don't know what that would be.
Okay. By the signs of it, your next level would be to share a partner, to share
Yes.
the profits.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I was telling Ariane that I wanted to build an 80-foot solar-powered self-navigating houseboat so our $20 million views could change in the Muskokas every 10 minutes. I mean, I love the idea of the lifestyle because I have, friends who have cottages up there and they're $20 million cottages, $20 million views, but the view never changes. So I'm always looking to improve things, right?
okay,
Um, so yeah, but she didn't like the idea of living on a boat, even though she
okay.
sailed and she raced sailboats for over 10 years. I guess that's in her past and she didn't like that idea, so that idea was shelved. But
Okay.
my business, I can travel and work from anywhere as long as I have internet connection. I can do business from anywhere, so we could be traveling. And we used to travel quite a bit. I used to turn, business trips into holidays, and she used to travel with me on occasion, but not to a level where, it was ideal.
How much is the depression in your life consuming you?
Um, I think it affects me every day. Some days more than others. It affects my work.
How?
In terms of the quality of the work. In terms of the videos that I put out. In terms of the imagination or the ideas that I'm able to come up with.
What would life look like if you weren't depressed?
Well, then Ariane would be in my life and she would be part of my business because I offered her a partnership to share 50% of the profits with her just for traveling and helping me out and being a sounding board.
I presume she said no.
She never said no, but she never said yes either. Remember I said she's been involved in jobs all her life, in jobs that she hated. She doesn't
Yeah.
understand what it's like to be a business owner. She'll never, because again, her dad lost, he was a developer, he lost everything. Um, and I think that fear in her prevented her from having any meaningful, fulfilling career.
Okay. Just to clarify what I'm looking at. You feel that life right now, excluding uh, Ariane splitting up with you, life is perfect. Nothing wrong with it. Life is going. You're just looking for the next thing to make life even better. She splits up with you and she found somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And this has caused depression for you. The
Mm-hmm.
only way for you to get over that depression, which would just then create better videos, better content, better business thoughts, but the only way to overcome that is if she was to be back in your life. Is that right? But you can't get that. So instead, you're looking for somewhat, again, not meant to be derogatory, but a replacement. And you found someone by looking through the however many people to find someone that you've been speaking with for 2 weeks and you've had a meaningful conversation and she's got there's a chance that she could be the one. Is that where we are?
Yes.
What's right and what's wrong about that photo, that image, or synopsis, whatever you want to call it?
Well, even if the new one wasn't the one, what and again, I'm not looking for perfect people because I'm not perfect, very far away from it. But it was that glimmer of hope that I haven't had for a year and a half.
Okay.
Okay. So it was more, yes, she had a very sexy voice. We talked, we had some great conversations. We were like-minded in quite a few different things. She wanted to try pickleball. She was into hiking and biking and all that stuff, and she loved to travel
Yeah.
and she was a professional and well, I should I my younger brother, and the first thing I did was I sent him a picture because sometimes we're competing for the same women. Um,
Yeah.
and I wanted to make sure he wasn't in the process of talking to her. So he cleared it he wasn't. But she was not perfect because she is a mom. And the reason why I generally don't date moms is because they have mom mentality. They don't have
Okay.
the spontaneity. But she talked about spontaneity. She talked about a lot of things that that said she didn't have true mom mentality.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
but generally, I try not to date people who are moms.
Right. But going back to the dating scene in the first place, why even look for a relationship? Why can't you just spend the time with your brother, go on holiday with him, kick back, chew the fat, and just say,
First of all,
I
he
don't
hates
want a
going on
relationship.
holidays.
Okay.
Um, it's different. I mean, going on holidays with your brother and going on holidays with someone, a travel buddy or an activity buddy, is not the same as going on holidays with the love of your life. It's a
Okay.
whole other level.
But just to play devil's advocate, the love of your life is in Mexico at the moment.
Right.
So
But the new
it
love
doesn't
of my
matter.
life, the new love, because I don't
Okay.
believe there's one.
Okay. But isn't that a little bit superficial until you truly get to know them?
Superficial. Well, your whole life is a process of getting to know other people. I mean, I
Yeah.
learned a lot about Ariane over the 7 years we were together,
Yeah. When
right?
did Ariane become your number one, the love of your life?
Well, I mean, it's it's not. Well, let's put it this way. Before I met her, I knew there was a potential she could be.
Right.
I knew there was a potential she could be. She rejected me 3 times. I'm pretty sure I told you that. The first 3
Yeah.
dates were horrible. She rejected me. But I didn't give up. I kept pursuing her. All right.
Okay. How many people, if you just go from your house just now and you go downtown and you go and just grab a cup of coffee or grab whatever you're going to buy, and then before you head off to work, if you meet someone that's beautiful, that's funny, that meets all your markers, would you speak to them?
Of course, I speak with everyone.
Would you have? Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to define the level. Is it only online? Is it just on face
Well,
value? Is it
hold on, hold on.
okay?
I've seen
Okay.
beautiful people on my walks and traveling, and do I approach a total stranger on the street? No, I'm too shy for that. I don't
Okay.
I don't do that. I was a very shy kid. Maybe this is an area we need to explore, but I was a very shy, geeky kid. Um, and don't forget, I couldn't speak English, and I was a very shy kid. So
Okay. And you come from Germany, didn't you?
no, Portugal.
Portugal. Oh, that's right. I
Ariane
see.
comes from Germany.
Okay.
Yep.
That's very interesting. So the question really is, how can I help you? How can I take you from where you are to the next level? What's going wrong for us to dive into, to execute, and have a potential positive outcome?
I would love to answer that question if I knew the answer.
Okay. What are you
I'm
being
not
pulled towards?
sorry.
What are you being pulled toward?
What am I being pulled towards?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why are we having this conversation right now?
I guess from my perspective, it's an exploratory conversation.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have conversations with therapists. Ariane thought it was a good idea for me to do this. I thought it was a good
Hmm.
idea for me to do this because and to me, this was a dark area in my life that I've never explored. I don't like dark
Okay.
areas. I want to shed light on everything to see
Hmm.
if there's anything there to expose. I don't know.
Do you think you have exposed anything?
Um, Well, I'd like to find out why I don't approach strangers. I mean, if I believe in talking to random men or random business people. Why don't I approach, a beautiful woman at a grocery store? But the thing is, it's about efficiency, right? 90% of those people are going to be married or engaged or in a relationship. Online, I can be more efficient and I can know exactly who's who. So the 10 minutes that I waste talking to a beautiful woman, then she tells me she's engaged, I embarrass myself, and now I know she's married and she has 3 kids. Right? I
Do you
could
think it's
do
more
that online with 100 women a lot faster.
right?
It's about
Do you think it's
efficiency.
more uh arguably, would you put it down to control?
Am I a control freak? Maybe. But
Mhm.
no, I don't see it
If
as control. I see it as being efficient. Time is very short. Life is very short.
Why did we have a conversation last week? What brought you for a chat with me? Say, hey, what are you up to? Fancy a bit of a chat? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Why? It wasn't that going to be a waste of your time because I'm a man and I'm in a relationship with 2 children.
Um,
Why can't you meet someone stranger just
no,
to have?
because we met at a group and it's mostly business owners. Um, and there's a potential relationship there to help business owners.
Okay,
You just happen to be a therapist, a different type of business owner. But I
okay,
still believe we can help each other. I mean, I know quite a few people that have issues that I can certainly help you. As I said, I manage a group with 334,000 mostly business owners in the construction industry. I'm going through a podcast tour, so I'm looking for people to do a podcast tour with me. So there's always opportunities. I
absolutely.
I don't believe that, you know, that it's a waste of time talking to people, especially if that person is ambitious and looking to grow their business or change their life in some way, shape, or form. I don't think that's a waste
Yeah,
of time.
okay. And that's very interesting. Well, what is your next step?
Um, to stop wasting my time, hire 3 VAs, create the strategy again, and go out and talk to 200,000 women.
But that took you how many years last time?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. But you would think
Okay.
because I've done it before, I'm going to be more efficient this time. Maybe I can do it in a year and a half. That's a daunting task.
Okay. But then you're going to be 65 and a half, 66.
If I don't start now and I start when I'm 67, then I'm
Yeah.
going to be 69 by the time I'm done.
Okay.
Unless you have
When would
better answers for me, I'm all ears. Because I'm not
um
looking forward to 2 years of work, especially since I've done it already.
I to be perfectly honest with you, Leo, I see someone that's trying too hard, trying to create too many rules, too much control to ensure that you're getting the best possible outcome by the best slick process to create the best relationship.
Okay. Do
I
you
think
believe you can
paperwork,
design a relationship? Let me turn this table on you.
no.
No, you can't design a relationship.
Design a relationship. I
Yep.
can talk through what I would like in a relationship, but I'm not designing it. I'm not
But
putting pen
aren't
to
you
paper and
design?
saying,
No, hold on. Let me
go
qualify
on.
that. Aren't you designing the relationship by first choosing the type of person you want to have a relationship with? And by choosing that person with the right attitude, the right mindset, the right goals, the right um, outlook on life, the right, politics, the right, the right activities, aren't I designing that relationship? Then once I find that person, having the conversations to align to make sure we are both thinking the same way. Because if you're
That'll
not,
always fail.
sorry,
That will fail.
why would that fail?
You've got an internal tick list of
Right.
everything that you want. Yep. Subconsciously, um, Freud says that every male will base their ideal woman on their mother, for example. You'll
My
have an
mother was
internal
nothing like that.
No. I'm just saying, for example, I'm not
Okay.
saying it's you. I'm just saying that's what Sigmund Freud says. What I'm saying is there is an internal tick list for you. You will have like, okay, she's got to be over 6 foot. She's got to be blue eyes. She's got to be without the conscious mind says, I want a supermodel. I want this. I want the best. I want a perfect woman. Your subconscious says, do you know what? I want this. I want that. I want the other. There are two separate ones because we're working on two separate minds. And if we're just going to be focusing on the version that you want, which you've done time and time and time and time again, and you've drawn in the people that you want, but they're not working because it's going on a system that's broken. The system that's broken is the true you, if you will, because if you've already proved that the person that you go for naturally is the wrong type of person for you, and you did that time and time again, you just go for the
Well,
wrong
no,
relationship.
before that was before we developed the system. If Ariane didn't believe that Canada was going to be a communist country, she would still be
Yeah.
living here, and we
Okay.
would probably be married today.
Right.
Okay.
But that was, if you would, a lottery of a 1 in 200,000 chance or 1 in 100,000 chance that you met that one woman through this system. What I'm saying is your subconscious has got its own belief of what it wants. Your conscious has got its own belief of what it wants, and they are not together. They're railroaded. They've gone two separate directions. What I would dare say is when we dig down and say, what's going on with that subconscious? Where is Leo's mindset right now? And if it's, I want this and I want that because this is working, and conscious Leo is saying, no, I want it much more efficient. I want it this. You are just going loggerheads. You might find the person in 2 years' time going through 200,000 people, but that's only going to be sheer luck that they say the right things or they've hit the right marks. Or am I wrong?
No, I don't see a conflict.
Okay.
If I have an internal conflict, I don't see it at all, because I believe my conscious and subconscious brain are working together to create the perfect relationship, or I shouldn't use words like perfect, nearly perfect relationship, right?
Right.
Ariane was not perfect. We didn't have the perfect relationship. We didn't have the communication level that we should have, because, I was waiting for her. And she is very conservative. I'm not conservative. So I don't see that conflict at all.
What I'm saying is, if you are 64 right now,
Mhm.
sorry, I don't mean to keep bringing up your age at all, but I'm just thinking aloud. If you're 64 and you're still trying to find the right algorithm to find the potential perfect woman, but on the other scale of it, you're fearful of talking to average Joe on the street because she's most probably in a relationship or she's got kids and you don't like.
I don't like the odds.
Yeah. Okay. So, and you need the VA to then sift through to find the
3
near perfect
VAs
person.
to work around the
3
clock.
VAs. Yeah. And what are they doing? Are they having their 3 VAs to work around the clock? Are they having an electronic fingerprint handshake? Or...
Sorry, I don't understand.
Okay. It seems to me that you're trying a little too hard.
And I
I'm just
believe
saying,
most people don't try hard enough.
but most people, as you say, the statistics have found the perfect person for them.
Well, no. When you look at the divorce rate of 50%, and when you talk to most people who are in a relationship or married, they're not deliriously happy. So I think most people to a 90% level are not deliriously happy. So they've settled, right? They're wasting their lives from my perspective.
But do you think that's a learned behavior from our forefathers to say that I
Yeah.
don't really care about relationship because it's just fickle and it can just disappear tomorrow? Therefore, they're not engaged.
Well, if you
as
don't
much as-
design it, you don't work at it, yes, it can disappear. Right?
Okay.
But you got to work at it. I mean, you got to have communication. You got to clear the train tracks of leaves, because the leaves eventually, grow roots and they become trees and they derail trains. Right?
Okay.
You
Mhm.
got to have fearless communication. You got to talk about things you're uncomfortable talking about, or else you're not going to have a relationship for long. See, the other thing that I don't believe is we get into a relationship, we say I love you, I want to marry you, and all of a sudden the honeymoon phase is over. I don't believe the
Yeah,
honeymoon phase should be over, because
I
if you
agree.
work at it and you keep communicating, you keep, taking care of each other and making each other happy, I don't believe the honeymoon phase should ever end.
I agree. I do agree.
Okay.
But the statistics of just finding that one person through your process to find the perfect relationship, as opposed to that very same person having the exact same process to getting the exact same partner. I would like to think that if there is that person out there, then you're on the right path to find them.
Well, I think there's at least 10
I
or 100 women that I could be deliriously happy with.
Yeah.
But I've got to go through 7 billion people to find her, right?
Yeah, but who knows? The actual person might just be your neighbor. Might be that lady working behind the
Well,
coffee pot who's just
yeah, it might have been Leah, for all I know. And I, every couple of weeks, I made a point of reaching out to her to make sure she's okay and see if I can get her back to the table. I don't give up that easily. And you're
yeah.
red again in terms of your internet connection. So
Yeah, I heard all that. I just heard a very fast version of it. Anyway, I'm going to have to go now. It was a very interesting talk with you.
thank you. I don't know what
No
that
problems.
means, but um,
It was interesting. I find everybody interesting. It's not meant to be. I'm not a person to have subliminal, underhand insults. It was very interesting speaking with you. I'm just looking at the time now, and I'm going to have to get some tea on because the kids
I
will be
understand.
hungry.
Yep, I understand. A pleasure talking to you. I'm going to try and send other people your way. And I hope you didn't find this a waste of your time.
It never is. I love to hear other people's opinions. I don't
Yep.
agree with your method, but I see it's worked in the past. So I hope all the best for you with this method.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
And
you for your
I do.
time, and we'll talk again soon.
I look forward to it. I do.
All right. Take care.
Okay. You
Bye.
too. Goodbye now.